Coach, the city of Seattle, known for coffee, grunge music, and, of course, rain. And we're definitely going to get a heavy dose of the last of those three here tonight as you look inside a wet and wild CenturyLink field. This crowd, as we've come to expect in recent years, as loud as any in the NFL, and they get even louder when their Seahawks are introduced. We're ready for football as the Seahawks get set to do battle with the Los Angeles Rams. Seems like we were just starting training camp, but here we are in October, and off we go on EA Sports. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback.
Let's go!
The fifth year back from Texas, this is Malcolm Brown. And that's not the start that he was looking for, as he's going to be met and dropped behind the line. It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down.
Brings up second and 11 at the 24-yard line.
After the loss to start out, here's second and 11. They go with Brown. Bringing him to the ground defensively, Tedrick Thompson.
Defensively here, you're facing a top-5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL. So when they're that high-powered, you've got to find a way to hold them under 20. Because to me, that's the magic number. 20 points scored, you give yourself your best chance to win.
So if they're up around 24, 28, 30, they could be in some trouble.
And I think so, because then you turn it into a shootout, and that means your offense has to keep pace.
Man open, it's Cup. He's got it. And he'll be out of bounds, but able to get it up past the 45. Right about 20 yards on the pickup. Officially, they'll say it's going to go for 19.
Mike's 49. Hey, kill. 47.
They will toss to Brown. And he's up across midfield and down into Seattle territory. In on the tackle there, Bobby Wagner, coming off a third straight All-Pro season.
One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, when you've got a running back of this size, of these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense because you're excited about hitting him in the first half.
And a big loss here as he's taken down. Jaron Reed muscles his way in for the sack.
And they're picking up right where they left off with the shutout that they pitched last week. A huge part of that, this pass rush. They know how to get after people.
Offensively, good luck finding some answers right now. Now a third down throw, but it misses the target, incomplete. Not the opening possession they were looking for, especially on the road.
No doubt about it, because they wanted to come out and establish a little momentum right away. But now bringing up a fourth down, an empty possession, not what they were seeking.
On is the punter, Hecker, as he gets this one away. And he gets it here to right around the 24 before he's out of bounds. They'll net only 35 here following a 43-yard boot, 8-yard return. And it'll be Seahawk football, first and 10. Wilson and the Seahawks take over now, first and 10 at their own 24. A first down run, good for about 3. Second and 7 coming up. A gain of 3, second down.
What's the old expression, 3 yards in a cloud of dust? In this case, it's dust-covered pellets. It's no longer that old grass that we used to play on, right, and chew it up. Now we've got that artificial surface. You see the pellets go up. Still a nice play by the defense.
Now a throw downfield is taken in by his running back. And he is in for the Seattle touchdown. Chris Carson, his 5th touchdown now on the year. And they are able to strike first here on their opening drive. An ideal start for them, really. You force the punt, and then you go down and score.
And you've got to see a fist pump on the sideline from the head coach, don't you? Because he's turned into his bench, and he's telling his team, this is how we prepare. Force the punt, go downfield and score. I told you guys, it's just like a boxer in the gym preparing for the fight. Now we get to turn it all loose.
Let's go.
set to begin their next drive. The Rams offense at the line and hoping to do better than they did their last possession when they punted the football.
Appeal to the vanity of your offensive line. Tell them that they control your fate. Leverage guys. Win the line of scrimmage. If you do that, you start to win first down. You win second down. And guess what? You start accumulating first downs, and that's what they need in order to not punt the ball again.
So after the run for no gain, here's 2nd and 10. Out of the gun, here's Prescott. He's letting it fly for Cooks, and that'll be incomplete. Good protection that time, and they couldn't hook up on the long one. Now it's 3rd down.
One thing I know from experience is that when the deep ball is thrown and you're the defender, you've got to fight that little bit of panic that emerges. You've got to play the ball really well. It's a 50-50 jump ball play, and guess what? They took a shot. How are you going to win it? And in this case, they managed to get it done.
On 3rd down, it's Prescott, and that will be incomplete.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on 3rd down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. 3rd down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
Now it's Lockett. A good return there. Call it 13 yards. And possession will switch hands. 1st and 10. The offense now at the line, ready for their next drive. And certainly they'll be hoping to hit pay dirt like they did on the last drive. Got the football back, so a chance to go up 2 scores.
And they haven't been tentative at all in this ball game, because sometimes you start a game with your script to try and get information out of the opposing defense. How will they play you in certain situations? Sometimes you script to attack, and that's what I'm seeing so far.
To throw on 2nd and 6. Wilson. Lockett with a grab over the middle. And he's taken down all the way inside the LA 10. A big play there on the catch and run. 45 yards. The chain gang hustling to catch up. Here's 1st and goal from just inside the 10. They run it with Carson. And a nice pickup there. He gets about 5 down to the 4-yard line. Charles, they won last week despite him not running the ball well. They told us need to get him going. Runs like that help.
And they talked to us about leaning on him because, as you noted, last week they didn't have to. Still won the ball game. They leaned on other people to give him the yardage.
And he's got it. Caught in the end zone for the Seahawk touchdown. Nick Vanette. His first touchdown on the year. And the Seahawks are able to stretch that lead out a bit further. Footing always a concern, but the extra point's up and good. And that'll make the score 14-0. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. The offense back out there at the line, ready for their next drive. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive. Now Brown, he lost the football. But fortunately, he's able to recover his own fumble, or that could have been trouble.
All I can say about this play is that someone's living right. I mean, he's trying to gain yardage, trying to get upfield. Ball comes free. What's that panic that we've talked about oftentimes that you feel when you lose the ball?
You can sense it.
Oh, you can sense it, and somehow he got to it and was able to recover it for his squad.
And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. 11 yards there, 1st down.
I have to admit, I'm excited by that play call and the end result, because this is a team that's down big early in the first quarter. And a lot of teams will just panic, abandon the playbook, and just start firing the ball all over the place. It's way too early for that. Stick to what works for you.
Down double digits, and we talked about their game plan being both running and passing there. You're right. They're sticking to the game plan, getting the ground game going.
A lot of football left to be played.
7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave them with a 2nd and 3. Trying to get one more in here before the quarter breaks. 14-0 the score. This is the NFL on EA Sports. The Rams with the football here to begin the second quarter as they've got it with a 2nd and 3 forthcoming. From the 45 on 2nd down. Prescott, man open left side is Brown. And he'll get it out to midfield. Looks like, yeah, they'll spot it right at midfield at the 50. 6 yards the pickup, and that's a first down.
Well, that was a pretty favorable situation there. What would you call that? 2nd and manageable? Smart play, too. Didn't force it downfield when he didn't have it. Just checked it down, let him get the first down, and that's exactly what he did.
There we go. Mike, 49. Here we go. 26.
On 2nd and 11 now. Prescott. And the Seahawk defense gets to him, and they bring him down. Jaron Reed able to drop him that time for his 2nd sack of the evening. So 2 plays with only negative yardage to show, and now it's 3rd and 16. Prescott off play action. He's letting it fly for Cooks. And almost picked off. I guess the good news for them now, it's 4th down.
Well, he bounced up after taking a sack and took a shot downfield. I think a lot of us thought maybe he'd run draw in that situation. Instead, tried to get all back in one play.
Yeah, 3rd and long, thought he needed the deep pass, couldn't connect it.
Maybe he was hoping for a penalty downfield to give him the yardage they needed.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
At their own 20-yard line.
Here's the Seattle offense ready to get this drive underway. It's been a good first half so far. They're up 14-0. Points here, that could really put them in command before intermission.
Yeah, and it's all well and good what they're seeing and how they're feeling right now. But this is the NFL. How many times have we watched 14-0 leads evaporate and quickly? So how have we seen them combat it? Continue to run your offense, but don't back off at all. Don't start looking at the clock. Don't start thinking about, hey, just take care of the football. Keep attacking. Usually the best way to maintain control.
2nd and 9 now from the 21. Here's Wilson to throw. To the right side, and he's got more complete. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a 3rd down.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before you get a good head of steam going.
That's complete to Disley, the tight end. And he's going to be taken down here with a penalty flag on the field. So a decent gain, but all for naught on the penalty.
It's too bad, isn't it? They were feeling pretty good about it. The only people celebrating, the guys who just gave up that play.
So following the holding call, what can they do here on 3rd and long? Now it's Wilson. And that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up 4th down.
Sure, that pass was incomplete as they made an attempt to get a big one downfield. But that's okay because the second part of that is if you don't get the completion, at least you've told the defense you're trying to stretch them out a little bit, and they may have to change accordingly.
The Rams take over 1st and 10 at their own 47-yard line.
Set to begin their next drive, the Rams offense at the line. And they're in a bind early here, down 14-0. Are you worried at this stage or still too early?
You're worried. You're just trying not to transmit it to the rest of your team. You want to make sure that they stay positive, but at the same time, you're wondering, how are we going to move the football? What do we have on this play sheet that can work? Get back to basics is usually your answer, and make sure you find the guy who can move the ball fastest for you if you just get it in his hands.
Yeah, still second quarter. You get points on the board here. I think you're feeling okay. Throw left side, complete to Cup. They'll get 9 there as that sets them up better for third down. You know, you wonder how the Rams' game plan in Super Bowl 53 might have been different with a healthy Cooper Kupp. He was injured on November 11, torn ACL, out for the year. But he was on his way to a 1,000-yard season in his second NFL campaign. Had 566 yards in 8 games before the injury. Boy, no chance as he was met and dropped behind the line there. Up front, the struggles continue for this offense among the line. What can they do? Change the play calling? What?
I think part of that, yes, changing some of the play calls, some screens, some draws, some misdirection. You want to run any type of a play that will influence these guys to continue to get upfield and find a way to use that against them and slip things in behind them. So some quick passes could work as well.
Zuerlein, of course, last year had likely the iconic field goal of the season, booting that 57-yarder in the Superdome to send his squad to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you really hurt the Saints fans on that one, didn't you?
Sorry.
They didn't want to hear that at all. But this guy deserves his nicknames. Greg the Leg, Legatron, because the ball goes through the post at a heavy rate, 87% in 2018.
First down, Seattle, 16 yards the gain there. From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. 2 minutes to play, first half. It's 14-0. Coming up at the half, a reminder, we go back to Orlando to check in with Jonathan Coachman. He'll have a look back at our first half as well as a look ahead to what's coming up later this weekend. Now a pass that's taken in by Hill. First down, Seattle on a pickup of 13.
I think that's a big pickup for a first down because when you run a drag route against zone, you're sometimes asking for trouble because you might run into a defender.
Yeah, well, there they ran into a first down. Executed it to perfection.
Check the backer, check the backer.
They'll run on first down. It's Carson, and able to get him down, but he does reach the 5. A 14-yard gain there as they look to improve this 14-point lead.
At this stage of the game, the run-pass numbers are a little bit out of whack because most of their yardage has come through the air. But in a sense, that just sets things up for big runs like that because the defense might be a little bit off balance. They pick up another first down with that run.
That gets them 3 yards closer here as it brings up 2nd and goal. So the ball position now at the 3. Here's 2nd and goal. They'll try to run with Carson. And this is not going to do it as he stopped at the 2-yard line. It'll go as no gain on the play, and now they're looking at a 3rd and goal.
Took right. 54, right there. 54, Mike. Check pass. 6-6. Mike 5-4.
On 3rd and goal, Wilson. Looking end zone, but it's incomplete. So they opted to pass for it on 3rd and goal. Let's see what they do on 4th and goal.
Well, I think they threw it with the idea that if they didn't get it, they would go for it on 4th and goal. So they've got another play in their pocket. They're going to have to call it right now. No field goal here.
So it's an old-school extra point that counts 3 times. So it's certainly a disappointment they weren't able to get it in the end zone.
Yeah, I can just imagine post-game, head coach looking at the box score, 19-yard field goal, grimacing a little bit, but having to realize that at that moment, getting 3 points was vital. Go ahead and get the points, put them on the board. Now, that's the kind of return that warms the heart of a special teams coach. He'll be pushing us next time, Brandon, to make sure his guys are introduced in the starting lineups. These guys have such an influence on every game. The unsung heroes, remember, they have their own meetings, their own practice time, heck, their own spot on the bench in order to be ready to play each and every week.
A run there on first down and a pretty good one of 5 yards, so make it 2nd and 5. The Rams going to go ahead and use the first of their timeouts as the stoppage will come with 23 seconds to go till halftime. After the pickup of 5, here's 2nd and 5. Prescott to throw it. It's hauled in by Brandon Cooks. And that'll wind up moving the chains again as the tackle's going to be made at the Seahawks 16. Those are the kinds of plays right there that show you why he's the number 3 man in the NFL in terms of receiving yards.
Also tells you there's a full combination of what he's got going in his game. You name it, from route running to catching the football. That's why he's able to produce those types of numbers.
Now a throw to the end zone on first down, but it winds up incomplete. Robert Woods, the intended receiver that time. But it's going to be 2nd down. So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on first down. Looking to throw. Prescott. Trying to find Cup, but it's intercepted. Picked up by the linebacker, Bobby Wagner. And he will take this one home. It's a touchdown. Now remember, this is the #1 defense in the National Football League. There's a good example of why.
Shows that they set an aggressive tone, not just stopping the run, not just getting after the quarterback, but the ball's in the air. They treat it like they're the receivers, and they went after that one and took it all the way.
Extra point up and through by Myers. All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. Forecast calling for more of the same. The rain set to continue as we are underway in the second half.
Come on, baby. Let's go.
Coming to the line here to begin their next drive, the Seahawks offense. They built a good first-half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustmts that might be made defensively. An incomplete pass leads to 2nd and 10 from the 25. Now Wilson throwing again. Flush to his right. On the run, he'll let this go deep right side. And this is going to wind up incomplete. The coverage there too strong on the deep ball, and now they face a 3rd down.
And now offensively it's 3rd and 10, and I'm just thinking to myself, actors always say, what's my motivation before a big scene? Right now the play caller's thinking, what have I done before that's worked well that I can go to right now?
Yeah, because they were pretty successful in the first half scoring points. Haven't done anything so far here in the second half. He is going to find Hill here. There he goes right side. And all the way in, touchdown Seattle. Making a hat trick for Russell Wilson. 3 touchdown passes now as his guys continue to pour it on. As a former DB, you might not like to see that, but from a wide receiver's perspective, those are the plays they dream of.
Correct on both counts, all right? Because once he took off, I mean, let's face it, that should have been done in Big Sky Country. Aren't any speed limits out there? And off he went. Glad I wasn't the one trying to chase him.
This is taken at the 3. And he'll be brought down at the 23, make it the 24-yard line.
At their own 24-yard line.
The offense now at the line, ready for their next drive. They're down in this game. A chance for the offense, though, to put something on the board, get some momentum here in half 2.
Try and get things kick-started for them. And you know at the half, they discussed how they were going to get that done. This is where scripting comes into play a lot of the time.
How many plays do you script coming out of the second half?
Most of the time in the first half, you're scripting 12 to 16. I think in the second half, you're really scripting more like 8 to 10. Kind of a starter or an opener, whatever terminology they use. Just something to get you off to a quick start.
And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. That'll be a loss of a yard, and it leads to a 3rd down. To throw is Prescott. He's going to air one out. And this will be caught at the 30. And all the way down to the 29. A big play there for L.A. 42 yards. So now then, the big play has him all the way inside the 30 now, 1st and 10. Now it's Brown. And an alley to run. And he is out of bounds right around the 10-yard line. So some holding over on the left side of that O-line.
And I know for the guys trying to move those big defensive people, they'd love for them to stay in one spot. But they move around so quick and so fast that sometimes you just have to grab them.
This is Brown on the carry. And he'll be brought down, losing yardage back at the 40. It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up 2nd down.
He continues to struggle to find a crease to break off a big one and might need to just put that aside and just try and ram his way forward and get what he can.
Throwing on second and long. Prescott. Oh, Prescott stripped, and the Seahawks have picked it up. And now nothing but green ahead of him. And he's going to score. It's a Seahawk touchdown. So that is now 2 fumble return touchdowns. You talk about something that's going to drive a head coach crazy.
Without a doubt. But for the defensive guys, once you do it once, you create a frenzy. Everybody wants to get involved, and they got it done a second time.
Myers connects on the PAT, and the lead will swell by 1 more. This is taken at the 3. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28-yard line.
At their own 28-yard line.
The offense back out there at the line, ready for their next drive. They have been struggling. I would imagine at halftime they went through some possible changes. Well, those changes aren't working, so now where do you go?
I think that now it's much more in their head. And what I mean by that is just what you said. You've gone over the changes. I bet they were pretty clinical at the half, not too emotional. They might need to go to the emotional side because you've got to find something, some spark somewhere. And so far, just being calm hasn't exactly worked.
They need any spark at this point.
We think, Brandon, I like the intensity this defense is showing right here in these first few drives. They're not just holding the line because they're doing their job, but they're doing more than that, aren't they? They're getting a nice push into the offensive backfield.
And a great example right there for the loss on the tackle. Well, that'll be caught by Cup. And he goes out of bounds just shy of the 45. It's a gain of 15, and the Rams have a first down. Nothing in that first half, nothing on the last drive, but they're moving now with a 1st and 10. Here's Prescott. Throw right side, going to be taken in by Henderson. Give him 2 yards on that play, and that'll make it a 2nd down. A 4-receiver look here. 3 out to the left, 1 to the right on 2nd and 8. Prescott now. He's letting it fly for Cooks. He's got it at the 15. And he takes it all the way down to the 3. A big play there for L.A. 52 yards. And at this stage, down in the second half, looks like they just wanted to find a way to get it in the hands of their playmaker, and they did.
I think you're exactly right. I don't think the coordinator's looking at his play sheet and trying to figure out which play will work well. He's trying to figure out how to get the ball to the playmaker that you just described. Looking down at that sheet, you find people.
And he takes it across for a Rams touchdown. Malcolm Brown, his 2nd touchdown on the season. And it's for pride now, but the Rams do get a bit closer. Now Greg Zuerlein on for the extra point. So they get 1 score back, but still a long ways to go here in this 3rd quarter. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes.
And that drives coaches insane, doesn't it? When they see that happen, it just doesn't feel right, does it? Plus, you're giving up yardage.
Here's the Seattle offense ready to get this drive underway. This is sort of what you would call a put-away drive, isn't it? They score here, especially a touchdown. It's almost out of reach.
It certainly feels that way, and I think that they're going to call their plays accordingly because what you really want to do, even though you know the scoreboard is still up there and the game's going to go on, you feel like you can take the spirit away from another team, that their drive and will to come back and win can be taken with another score right here.
It's still 3rd quarter, but you just get that feel.
Yeah, they're teetering right there on the brink, aren't they?
And he'll get it down to the 47 here. A gain of 5, good enough for the first down.
Third quarter and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
You better be afraid of me. Four down.
On first down, Wilson. And he's got a man on the crossing route. That's Moore. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. A good pickup there of 20 yards. Wilson now 5 straight completions here in this second half. 1st and 10. One quarter remains here in this Thursday night matchup. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports.
380. Front it.
On first down, Carson. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. Another nice gain. That's now 30 yards between those last 2 plays. I tell you, they didn't give it to him much for the first 3 quarters, but when they have, he's been efficient. Maybe they ride him more here down the stretch.
Hey, I'm not sure it was actually in the game plan for him to have as few carries as he has, but it might play out really well for them now. As you noted, they want to ride him down the stretch. He should have fresh legs.
First and goal at the 3-yard line.
50. Move 15. Mike 58 right there. Yeah. Check nickel.
Penny will try to punch it in. And he will take this one in for the Seattle touchdown. Rashad Penny, his 6th touchdown of the season, as his guys continue to put this one out of reach. Now Myers for the extra point. Now this one was over a while ago as they just add on to their big lead. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. Defensively, you said coming in earlier in the broadcast, the magic number was 20 points for you. That's what you thought they would have to hold this offense to, or less than that. And, wow, they've done that in a big way, haven't they?
Not only have they done it, they put themselves in a great position to win this one because holding them down was paramount. If they could get it done, well, guess what? We see the end result. Right now, they have their eye on victory.
And leading here in the 4th. And from the 25, they work this to the 29, a gain of 4.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable second down, a very solid gain on that play.
2nd and 6, just inside the 30. Here's Prescott. It's caught left side by Cooks. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield.
It's a gain of 23 yards.
Prescott now 9 of 15 throwing the ball, 60%, and it's 1st and 10. Throwing, Prescott. He's letting it fly for Cooks. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete. Brandon Cooks, the receiver he was going after, and it's 2nd down. Well, the trials and tribulations of being a quarterback in this league, it's tough. It's got to be wearing on him out there.
Well, he has been sacked a number of times. He had an interception, so I'm going to give him a Scotia credit for hanging in there and trying to make something happen, despite the amount of pressure he's been under this entire game.
After getting stuffed on first down, not much better there. 2-yard gain.
They know that old expression, it's not my night. It hasn't been his so far. I don't know if the legs are a little bit heavy. Sometimes having to hang out all day and play doesn't exactly play to your advantage, but it's been a tough go for him.
And every time he looks up, somebody's there defensively. That was the same case on that play. 4th down, Prescott. And this is going to be incomplete. Boy, it looked like he had it and dropped it. And the Seahawks are going to take over the football. That's another mistake there on the drop pass on 4th. And we've seen him do things like this all game.
It's not hard to figure out why they're down by that deficit. They haven't made plays that are going to keep them in the game or win the game all game long. That's another example right there. It all boils down at the end of it to execution. Either you make the play or you don't.
And when do they start thinking about burning these timeouts? They've got all three still defensively.
To me, you have to start right now. Here's the time, and that means you've got to stop them on defense, not give up the yardage, use your timeouts in order to get the ball back and try and score yourself. But now is the time to start using those timeouts.
And keep in mind, it'll also stop the clock at the 2-minute warning. Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. Picked off by the safety, Eric Weddle. And they have the football and will take over at the 24-yard line. Set to begin their next drive, the Rams offense at the line. And this offense last time turned it over, went for it on fourth, didn't get it. They're lucky, though, because no points against the... And he's got daylight. It's a foot race. 30, 10... And somewhat of a measure of revenge as he's in for the touchdown, but they still trail big time.
He'll take it, but he won't be able to smile about it.
And that run massively increased his production in this game, and now he's over 100 yards.
And break out your calculator, partner, because his yards per carry went up significantly, right? Big-time jaunt all the way to the end zone.
After the roughing penalty on the PAT, they'll kick off from 15 yards further upfield. This one fielded at the 5. And he'll take it back to about the 19-yard line. Coming to the line here to begin their next drive, the Seahawks offense. And this game comfortably in hand. The scoreboard speaks for itself, but you still got your starting quarterback out there. When do you go to the backup? Let him get some time.
And that's one of the great questions in the NFL, Brandon, because I'm just going to tell you, in the 2015 season, I commentated on 3 games in a row that were blowouts. And in none of them did the starting quarterback ever come out of the game for the team that had a big lead. And in each instance, I asked the coaches later on, why didn't you do that? And they all looked at me and said, just don't really do that in the NFL. These guys play, and we just play them all the way through. Now, in certain situations, they will take them out, but for the most part, they're not as worried and concerned about getting him out of the game, and that's always puzzled me a little bit.
So the ref takes a peek here, wants to see if the receiver had possession and both feet inbounds.
If this were a college game, this would be a legal catch. It's the second foot that they're looking at to make sure it gets down. You have to have 2 inbounds in the NFL.
And not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. This is Carson. And an alley to run. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. Another good gain. That's now 35 yards combined on those last 2 plays. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So it's Seahawk football as we march toward a conclusion. And they have just about put this one on ice as they've got it here, 1st and 10. Oh, this is intercepted, intended for Hill. Picked up by Nickel Roby-Coleman. Accelerating, and off he goes. And it's a terrific return here as he's going to have them set up with a 1st and goal right at about the 6-yard line. I tell you what, credit is due there on them preventing the touchdown after that interception.
How about him chasing him down and not giving up the pick 6? Because what happens a lot of the time is when you see the interception, you just kind of hang your head a little bit and you momentarily pause because you're frustrated. He shook that off and gave great chase and got it done.
Still a great return and very good field position. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. He'll wind up losing a yard on the play, and that'll make it 3rd and goal. And he won't be close to a 1st down as he runs into a wall right around the line of scrimmage. Calling no gain on the play, so no help there. And now 4th and goal.
47. Alert flare. Don't take. Spell.
Now Prescott on 4th down. On the move to his left. And he's across for the touchdown. Too little, too late, but he does get in for 6.
No wonder you're grinning. You just beat me in our fantasy league.
Indeed I did, my good man.
The defense was almost too good on that play. They took away all of his targets. The one thing they forgot, to account for him as a runner. And he was able to tuck it and go for the end zone and get it done.
Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. This will be taken very short. Breaks a tackle.
The Seahawks take over first and 10 at their own 23-yard line.
The offense now at the line, ready for their next drive. They have the dream scenario you hope for coming into the game. Just one kneel here, and this game should be over.
And it's always the final play of preparation each week. The practicing of the kneel-down formation, the victory formation. We've got a game in hand, and that's all they're going to want to do now. They'll put someone back deep just in case something goes haywire. But all in all, take the snap, kneel down, and shake hands. Yes, get out of there.
Well, once again, they'll go from the 23-yard line on 2nd and 10. Oh, Wilson going to throw. High throw, but the catch is made. 11 yards there, first down.
An ex-teammate used to tell me all the time, I hate experienced quarterbacks because no matter what, you really can't hide what you're doing. And I think that right there, he knew right away where the blitz was coming from, where his primary guy was going to be, and he ended up going to a secondary target for a nice game.
I was just going to ask you, that wasn't the primary target. He's so good at that, isn't he?
I think he knew right away that he wasn't going to get to his primary guy. I think he read that as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage, knew where the pressure was going to come from, and said, I know how to beat that, and that's what he did.
Well, Charles, it's one thing to win. It's another thing to win and put up the amount of points that they did. Boy, were they clicking on offense.
They can't help but feel great about themselves, can they? I mean, what a game.